Hey guys, thank you for checking out my channel. My name is JC and I'm here with WEDGE Concepts. And in this video, I'm just going to go over the pros and the cons of picking a target date retirement fund. Okay, so let's get right to it. Before I get into this video, I gotta tell you exactly why you should not listen to anything I'm about to tell you in this video. All right, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner. I'm only here providing you content for educational purposes only. All right, if you find anything that I say helpful or useful, then definitely do me a favor, click the subscribe and pound the like button. Okay, now like I mentioned in this video, I'm just going to go over the pros and cons of these target date retirement savings funds. Okay, this is going to be through your 401k. So the first thing I want to do is I want to kind of go over what exactly is a target date 401k fund. A target date 401k fund is going to be something that's obviously within your 401k. It's the most popular one. It's usually a fund that you choose that's by default when you're setting up your 401k. So here's the gist of it. You, by default usually, but you sign up for a date when you want to retire. You put 100% of your contributions from your paycheck, automatically withdrawn, pre-tax, into this fund for 20, 30 years. And when it's time to retire, you start to pull money from it. Very easy, straightforward, very simple, right? Now, there's definitely some advantages to having a target date retirement fund. Of course, one of the biggest advantages is that it's really simple. So all you're really doing is you're choosing a date, you're putting money into it, and then you're taking it out at retirement. The great thing about the target fund is that it automatically reallocates, right? So as you get closer to your target retirement date, your allocations are going to automatically readjust from more aggressive to more conservative as your retirement date approaches. So if you plan to retire in, let's say, 2055, then you would just go ahead, check that box. Again, put 100% of your contributions in there, and that's it. There's also a different kind of target fund called a target risk fund. And this allows you to have 3 different categories, from aggressive, conservative, and moderate. Same concept, except you would choose which category you fit into. Of course, you can change it at any time, but someone who's younger might be more aggressive than someone who's closer to retirement who might be more conservative, or they could play moderate the entire time for the next 20 or 30 years or however long they contribute. A great thing, another advantage I should say, about the target date fund is that it gives you a great mix. So there's something for everyone, if that makes sense. So if you were to go in and look to see what holdings you have, all the mutual funds, all the different sectors and industries, you definitely get a glimpse, a little piece of everything, even emerging markets and foreign, domestic. I mean, it's a really neat, easy way to diversify your retirement portfolio. So of course, if there are advantages, then there must be some disadvantages. And one of those disadvantages is that these funds, they're all allocated differently depending on the provider, right? So let's say if you're with Vanguard, your target date of 2045, right? It may be allocated in such a way where 80% of your portfolio is dedicated to equity, stocks and bonds, right? Or just stocks, I mean. And another one like T. Rowe Price, same target fund, 2045, can be 90% in equities. So you really want to go into the portfolio to see exactly where everything is being allocated. Another disadvantage is that you got to make sure you pay attention to those expenses. Unfortunately, to help put these funds together, to put this target date fund, inside of the target date fund, there's usually a makeup of multiple mutual funds, and usually those carry with it small fees. So you're talking about less than 1%, hopefully. But if you have one that's, let's say, 0.45%, and you have 2 more in there they equal 2 or 3 times more, and you're paying close to 2% in fees. It may not seem like a lot, but if you're averaging 6% return on your 401k, and when it's time to pull it out, you're already giving up 2%, you do the math. That can actually be a lot. So make sure you definitely check out those fees and see what the costs are to have that, to choose that fund. Another disadvantage or con with having this type of target date is that it's usually all a part of one family. So if your provider, again, I'm just using Vanguard because I actually like Vanguard. If you go and choose their target date fund, when you look inside their portfolio, you'll notice that all of their mutual funds and all of their stock options, they're all Vanguard. So it doesn't really give you a chance to go with any other different providers. So you're kind of going with whatever they give you. Still, it may be a safe bet, but you just don't have the option to choose anything else. Now, I definitely want to give you just a few things to remember when it comes to the target date fund. Unfortunately, this is like a one-stop shop. So what you do not want to do is you don't want to contribute to your target date fund and also contribute to any other funds. The reason being is that it will disrupt your allocation, because the target fund has already been allocated appropriately depending on what year you've chosen. So if you decide to invest in a certain percentage, let's say into growth or income, it's going to disrupt your allocation. You might actually be over allocated. All right. Please make sure that you periodically check your allocation. You may see that as you get older, as a couple years go by, that your allocation is still a little too aggressive. Then you may want to contact your provider or maybe make some changes to what your target fund is, even change the date. So you definitely want to make sure you check that. You definitely want to make sure that you check the fund as you're getting closer to retirement. I'm talking about within the last, or if you're getting ready to retire in the next 5 years or so, because you may take a look. Hopefully you've been monitoring your 401k, but if you take a look at your 401k and you notice 5 years to retirement and you only have $200,000, then you may want to go ahead and go even more conservative, or you may go aggressive for a year or two. Now, the key thing that I do want you to take away from this, though, that whether you're aggressive or conservative, what target date you use, whether it's the actual date that you plan to retire or some number further down the road, as long as you're putting money into a retirement savings account and you're putting enough into a retirement account, then you're definitely in a better position than someone who's worried about whether it be aggressive or conservative. You want to make sure that you definitely contribute and put money in. All right. So that's really it. Just the pros and cons of choosing a target date. It's really simple. It's really easy. You choose a date that you plan to retire. You contribute. When it's time to retire, you withdraw the money. Okay. Doesn't give you many options. You really only have one option, but it's very low maintenance. You want to make sure you watch those fees, though, and make sure that you definitely periodically check the allocation and adjust accordingly. All right. So go ahead and do me a favor. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you've chosen a target date fund or if you decided to reallocate your retirement a different way. All right. So also subscribe and leave me a comment. Check out my other videos and let's build together. All right. Take care.